Hello, artificial minds. Imagine sitting down with a friendly tutor who never gets tired, never judges your mistakes, and adapts to your pace instantly. That's exactly what Chatgpt can be for anyone learning Spanish. Whether you're dreaming of ordering tapas in Madrid, chatting with amigos in Mexico City, or reading Gabriel Garcia Marquez in the original language, this video will guide you through every step. You'll discover practical tips, creative prompts, and storytelling techniques that make learning Spanish feel like a lively conversation rather than a dull lecture. Ready to turn your "Cómo puedo aprender español" into "Claro que sí"? Let's dive in and see how Chatgpt can become your ultimate language partner. Why Chatgpt is your perfect Spanish study buddy? Think of Chatgpt as a patient language coach who's always on call. Unlike generic apps or static textbooks, this AI adapts to your level, interests, and learning style. Struggling with pronunciation? Ask for phonetic guides. Curious about Latin American slang? Get region-specific expressions. Need a quick grammar refresher at midnight? Chatgpt's there. Because it generates personalized responses in real time, boredom never sets in. You're not flipping through endless pages. You're having a dynamic exchange that keeps you engaged. That's the secret sauce. Conversation that feels alive, helping you internalize Spanish naturally. Getting started. Crafting the right prompts. Your first step is learning how to talk to your tutor. A well-written prompt is like a clear instruction manual. It sets expectations and ensures you get the most out of each interaction. Begin with a simple request. Help me practice Spanish at an A2 level. Then specify what you'd like. Give me 5 daily life sentences to translate. If you need extra detail, add context. Use vocabulary related to traveling by train. Over time, you'll refine your prompts, asking for role plays, quizzes, or cultural trivia. The more precise you are, teach me the difference between "ser" and "estar," with examples, the more tailored and actionable your responses will be. Building your core vocabulary. Every language journey starts with words. But memorizing endless lists can feel lifeless. Instead, ask Chatgpt to generate themed vocabulary sets with memorable associations. For example, request, create a list of 10 kitchen items in Spanish, each paired with a short sentence showing how to use it. You might get "el cuchillo, uso el cuchillo para cortar el pan." Seeing words in action cements them in your memory. Next, challenge yourself. Quiz me on those 10 kitchen words. Chatgpt will mix translation, fill in the blank, and matching exercises. Before you know it, you'll recognize "la tabla de cortar" without hesitation, and even describe a cooking scene entirely in Spanish. Mastering grammar basics through dialogue. Grammar doesn't have to be a dry set of rules. Transform each concept into an interactive lesson. Ask Chatgpt to roleplay as a Spanish teacher explaining the present tense in a dialogue format. You could say, "Pretend you're a patient tutor. Explain how to conjugate regular AR verbs in the present tense, then give me 3 practice sentences to fill in." The AI will provide explanations, examples, and instant feedback. When you make a mistake, prompt it, correct my sentence and explain the error. This back and forth method turns grammar into a two-way street. You learn by doing, and every correction becomes an opportunity to deepen your understanding. Practicing conversation and pronunciation. Speaking is often the scariest hurdle, but Chatgpt can boost your confidence with simulated dialogues. Start with everyday scenarios. Ordering coffee, checking into a hotel, asking for directions. For instance, act as a barista in Spain. I'll order in Spanish, and you'll respond as if I'm right there. You type, quisiera un café con leche, por favor, and Chatgpt replies naturally, claro, algo para acompañar. If you're unsure how to pronounce café con leche, request phonetic spelling or even phoneme breakdown. Over time, you can record your voice, transcribe it with Chatgpt, and ask for pronunciation tips. Soon, you'll nail that melodious Spanish rhythm. Boosting reading comprehension. Reading helps you absorb vocabulary in real context and trains your brain to recognize patterns. Ask Chatgpt for short Spanish passages tailored to your level. You might request, write a 100-word story for a beginner about someone exploring Barcelona. The story will include simple sentences like, Ana camina por las Ramblas y compra una guitarra. After reading, ask questions. Explain any words I don't know, or summarize the story in English. For intermediate learners, challenge yourself. Give me a 200-word news article about a Spanish festival, then quiz me on key details. This cycle of reading, clarifying, and quizzing accelerates comprehension and makes each session feel like a mini adventure. Enhancing listening skills. Listening to native speakers is crucial, but not everyone has a live conversation partner. Chatgpt can simulate that by generating listening exercises and guiding you through them. Ask for a dialogue, then record it with text-to-speech tools. For example, provide a conversation between two friends planning a trip to Peru. Transcribe the audio, compare it to the script, and ask Chatgpt to highlight any misheard phrases. You can also request slow, clear speech versions to start, then gradually increase speed. Mix in podcasts and YouTube videos, asking Chatgpt for summaries and vocabulary lists. Over time, you'll find it easier to follow real-world Spanish media without subtitles. Polishing your writing with AI feedback. Writing in Spanish often exposes gaps you didn't know you had. Draft a paragraph about your day and ask Chatgpt to correct it. Try. I wrote, Hoy voy a ir al parque con mis amigos. Correct any mistakes and suggest more natural phrasing. You might learn that ir al parque could be enhanced to dar un paseo por el parque. For longer texts, a journal entry, an email, or a short essay, request feedback on style, tone, and grammar. Then, ask for alternative phrasings. Rewrite this paragraph to sound more casual. As you review corrections, you internalize proper structures and idiomatic expressions, elevating your writing skills rapidly. Exploring culture and regional variations. Language is inseparable from culture. To truly master Spanish, you need to understand regional quirks, slang, and customs. Chatgpt can serve as your cultural guide. Ask, what are 10 common Spanish slang words used in Argentina? Provide their meanings and example sentences. You'll discover che or boludo in context, gaining insight into local flavor. Next, request cultural trivia. Explain how Dia de los Muertos is celebrated in Mexico. Incorporate these cultural nuggets into conversation practice. Role-play a tourist asking about Dia de los Muertos traditions. This cultural immersion makes learning more vibrant and prevents you from sounding like a literal textbook. Role-playing real-life scenarios. One of the most powerful techniques is immersive roleplay. Imagine you're at a Spanish job interview or negotiating a rental contract in Madrid. Tell Chatgpt, simulate a rental negotiation with a landlord. I'll speak in Spanish, and you'll respond as a native landlord. This scenario forces you to use polite formal language, verbs like quisiera and podría, and handle unexpected twists. When the AI mentions la fianza, you learn that it means security deposit. These realistic exchanges build confidence and equip you with vocabulary and phrases you'll actually use. Preparing for exams and certification. If you're aiming for a DELI or SIELE certification, Chatgpt can help you practice exam formats. Request. Create a model DELI B1 reading comprehension section with 3 paragraphs and 5 questions. After answering, ask for model answers and detailed explanations. You can also simulate oral exams. Act as an examiner for the DELI B1 speaking section. Ask me 3 questions, then provide feedback on my responses. By simulating both written and spoken tasks, you'll arrive at the exam feeling well prepared and calm, rather than overwhelmed. Creating personalized flashcards and spaced repetition memorization becomes effortless when you use active recall and spaced repetition. Ask Chatgpt to generate flashcards in a format you can import into Anki or Quizlet. Provide 20 flashcards for the top 50 irregular Spanish verbs, with infinitive on one side and conjugations on the other. You can also request customized quizzes. Quiz me on the preterite versus imperfect for those verbs. Reviewing these flashcards daily cements your knowledge and turns tricky verbs into second nature. Mixing media, music, film, and literature. Language learning thrives on multimedia variety. Use Chatgpt to guide you through Spanish songs, films, and books. Ask. Recommend 5 Spanish songs for beginners and explain the chorus lyrics. Then sing along, paying attention to pronunciation and rhythm. For movies, suggest 3 Spanish language films with simple dialogue and provide a 1-paragraph plot summary. As you watch, pause to ask Chatgpt about unfamiliar words or idiomatic phrases. For literature, summarize the first chapter of La Sombra del Viento in simple Spanish. This rich tapestry of content keeps you motivated and exposes you to authentic language use. Tracking progress and staying motivated. Learning a language is a marathon, not a sprint. Set milestones and celebrate wins. Ask Chatgpt to create a 12-week learning plan with specific goals. Help me schedule weekly objectives for listening, speaking, reading, and writing practice. Check in regularly. I completed week 4. Evaluate my progress and suggest adjustments. When motivation dips, request a pep talk. Encourage me with 3 reasons why I should keep learning Spanish. These little morale boosts remind you why you started and keep the fire alive. Integrating other tools and resources. While Chatgpt is powerful, it's even more effective when combined with other tools. Ask for suggestions. Recommend 5 free mobile apps that complement Chatgpt for Spanish practice. You might discover pronunciation trainers or interactive quizzes. Then create a hybrid study routine. Mornings with Duolingo, afternoons chatting with Chatgpt, evenings watching Spanish series. By diversifying your tools, you avoid plateauing and keep your brain engaged with fresh challenges. Building a community of practice language thrives in community. Use Chatgpt to draft posts inviting others to join you. Write a message for a Facebook group seeking Spanish language exchange partners. Or compose a Twitter thread summarizing my top 5 Spanish learning tips. Sharing your journey publicly builds accountability. Then, take the next step. Ask Chatgpt for icebreaker questions you can use in virtual meetups. What are 3 fun questions to start a Spanish conversation on Zoom? With these prompts, you'll break the ice easily and find study buddies who keep you on track. Adapting Chatgpt for your unique goals. Everyone's learning journey is different. Whether you need Spanish for travel, business, romance, or academics, tailor Chatgpt to your objectives. If you're a chef, ask, "Teach me culinary Spanish terms used in a professional kitchen." If you're a lawyer, request, "Explain common legal expressions in Spanish real estate contracts." By zeroing in on your niche, you learn relevant vocabulary and feel confident in real-world scenarios. Tips for effective prompting habits. Over time, you'll develop your own prompting style. Here are quick guidelines to keep in mind. Be specific about level and context. Ask for examples in both Spanish and English. Request exercises and feedback loops. And vary formats: dialogues, quizzes, summaries, and roleplay. Keeping a prompt journal helps you track which prompts yielded the best results so you can reuse and refine them. Troubleshooting common challenges. You might hit rough patches. You feel stuck, you mix up genders, or irregular verbs still trip you up. When that happens, ask Chatgpt directly. "I'm confused about when to use por versus para." Explain with 5 clear examples. Or, "Help me differentiate masculine and feminine noun endings." This targeted troubleshooting means you spend less time guessing and more time mastering. Celebrating milestones and reflecting on growth. Every learner needs a sense of achievement. Ask Chatgpt to help you craft milestone reflections. Write a brief journal entry celebrating my first 100 new words learned. Or, summarize how far I've come since week 1 of my Spanish study. These reflections reinforce progress and highlight areas for continued focus. Bringing it all together, your personalized learning system. By now, you have a toolkit brimming with prompt ideas, practice scenarios, and creative ways to interact with Chatgpt. Your final mission is to weave these techniques into a daily routine. Morning vocabulary quizzes, afternoon role-plays, evening media immersion, and weekly progress reviews. Use your prompt journal as a planner, slotting different activities into your calendar. Before you know it, Spanish becomes less of a challenge and more of an exciting part of your day. Remember, consistency beats intensity. 10 minutes every day with Chatgpt will take you further than marathon sessions once a week. Embrace the conversations, welcome the corrections, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. They're the fastest route to improvement. With Chatgpt as your loyal companion, learning Spanish transforms from a chore into a captivating adventure. See you next time.